lighthearted drinking game we used to play in college. Harmless, really. And this is the funny part. Everyone pulls out their unit and starts feverishly self-stimulating with the goal to not be the last one that finishes on the cookie, because the last person to finish is then obligated to eat the cookie in its entirety. Having said that out loud, all these years later, it almost sounds a little gay. Just a little.
Shalom. First off, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakudash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the hopeful elect that are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. And to all my brothers out here preaching this truth to you, I say Shalom. This is a Montazar from the Chicago camp coming back at you again with another lesson entitled, They Are Defective and They Know It. Now, what you didn't see in that short was that the woman was so disgusted that she got up and walked out. Okay? She was so disgusted, she got up and she walked out. All right? So I just want to, it's a couple points I want to make in tonight's lesson. All right? There's been a lot of pedo activity going on. You had in Bibb, Alabama, you had a whole ring of child abuse, all right, that was going on. And then also in this lesson, I want to talk about Terry Lee Yetman, all right, and also the redacted Epstein files. Because one thing that we're seeing in this truth is that we know that Esau is defective. And what you have is you have a people group, right, who are wicked, and the earth has been given into the hand of the wicked, and they're in judgment. All right, you got the Nolan Wells case, all right, and I uncovered 3 months before the Nolan Wells case, I was able to uncover that the Mississippi Public Works, was hooked up with the Ku Klux Klan. Okay, so you have these people in the position of authority over you and in judgment, and they are defective. And what happens is they seek each other out, all right, and they form tight knit groups because they're all defective, so they're into the same thing, and they know that what they're into is always weirder and vile. Okay, what they're into is weird and is vile, and that's why I wanted to start this off with that video. Okay, when you listen to him talk, he sounds educated. he said he said it was what did he say? It was a team building exercise. All right, where him and his friends, okay, uh, what did he say? Release themselves on a cookie, and whoever's the last has to eat it. It's ridiculous. But they pervert everything. All right. So before we get into the scriptures, I want you to just think about something for a moment, because Esau is the biggest Mo out there. All right. He's a closeted Mo. Okay. He's also the biggest pedo out there. He's also the biggest cuck. Okay. If you don't know what a cuck is when a man gets off when another man is having intimate relations with his woman. They like to film it. All right. Uh, him and his woman are the biggest. They into the bestiality. Okay. You can't trust any people right? Who every time they take a picture, the damn dog is in the picture. Why is the dog in every picture? He's the biggest cross dresser. Okay, you had a man roll up. He was cross dressed. He rolled up to a fast food restaurant, and the guy said, "What would you like me to address you as?" He said, "What do I look like?" He said, "A man." All right, he likes to be pegged. Okay, he likes to cross dress, dress like a woman, and then have a woman put on a peg. All right, and peg him. Okay, he likes he if he ain't wearing high heels, he wants you to wear high heels. And guess what he wants you to do with the high? He wants you to walk on him. He wants you to stand on his body and hurt him with the high heels. He wants to choke you. You in the middle. You in the middle of relations, and he wants to choke you, or he wants to be choked. All right, you got fools in the entertainment industry that died. You know, asphyxiating themselves. Okay, absolutely ridiculous. He wants to urinate and defecate on you. All right, that's part of his love making. Okay, some of them, and you know what? And he can't just touch. He just can't touch it. He got to put his fist in it. He got to slap you. Got to spit on you. I mean, he just perverts everything. He got to do all these things to get off, and that tells you this man is twisted. And I remember when I was a kid, there was a show that used to come on TV called Cheers. All right, and I used to just listen to the opening song. But as a grown man now, I see why they congregate so much. They congregate so much because they seek themselves out, and they discussing Jake, and they all know how morbidly twisted they are. So they find solace in each other. Let's go ahead and get into this lesson. This is Daniel 4 and 17. And it reads, "This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of men." And the basis of men on the earth right now is Esau, Edom. Esau, Edom is the basis of men. He's the lowest of men. Job 9 and 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? All right. So you seen um, Esau as he's made the world believe that uh, he is the people of the Lord. Okay. He went back through iconoclasm and painted himself and painted his likeness on the icons. Okay. This is Leviticus 18 and 22. Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is abomination. Neither shalt thou lie with any beast to defile thyself therewith. Neither shall any woman stand before a beast to lie down thereto. It is confusion. All right. You're not supposed to be having any type of sexual relations with an animal. Okay. You're not supposed to. I mean, I got to say that. You got to say that. Deuteronomy 22 and 5. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, and neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. For all that do so are abomination unto Yahweh thy power. That's what they do. They big into cross dressing. Salaki, they big into that cross dressing. All right. This is Job 30 and 1. But now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock. Okay, so this ain't nothing new. Esau been fucking around with these animals for a long time. Job 30 and 8. They were children of fools, yea, children of base men. They were viler than the earth. And that vile goes into being separated. okay, separated, cut. All right. Uh, so these people were outcast of the earth. All right. So going into this lesson, going into what I want to talk about here, you see this? It says breaking. A Bozer state trooper was arrested for having sex with canine dogs he was training, and also child. You see what it is. Okay. A former Louisiana police officer accused of possessing that child corn and of filming himself repeatedly assaulting his dog has been sentenced. All right. So this is Terry Lee Getman, was originally hit with 71 total felony counts spanning animal sex abuse and juvenile pornography before accepting a plea agreement with Louisiana prosecutors. The investigation was conducted by the Louisiana State Police Special Victims Unit with assistance from federal Homeland Security investigators. The original charges: bestiality, December 2018. Yetman originally faced 40 counts regarding animal abuse. This included 20 counts of performing sexual acts with an animal and 20 counts of filming the abuse. The target of the abuse was a retired Belgian Malinois police canine named Boss. Child pornography, April 2019. While out on bond for the initial arrest, a separate investigation into another former law enforcement officer linked Yetman to a child exploitation ring. He was subsequently hit with an additional 31 felony counts of possession of that pornography, including juveniles. Evidence details. Digital forensics investigators executed search warrants on Yetman's online accounts. A forensic examination of his Apple iCloud account uncovered graphic digital files documenting his own abuse of the canine alongside the images of pubescent and prepubescent children. Conspiracy and trafficking elements. Court documents reveal text conversations where Yetman actively discussed preying on young boys and girls. Furthermore, state police records, Salakia, state police reports noted that Yetman requested and received a used pair of underwear belonging to a co-conspirator's 7-year-old daughter, which he then transported to the residence of other sexual predators. Final plea and sentencing. In August 2021, Yetman avoided a maximum 45-year sentence by pleading guilty to 6 specific counts, causing the state to drop the remaining 65 charges. See that? They're not in trouble as other men. Judge Michael Craig handed down the sentences in November 2021, which were later upheld by the Louisiana Second Circuit Court of Appeal in January of 2023. 5 counts of sexual abuse of an animal, sentenced to 4 years at hard labor for each count, serving consecutively to one another, totaling 20 years. 1 count of possession of pornography involving juveniles, sentenced to 20 years at hard labor with 5 years to be served explicitly without the benefit of parole, probation, or suspension of sentence. Concurrent structuring. The judge ordered the 20-year block for bestiality and the 20-year block of child porn to run concurrently, setting his total prison term at 20 years. He must register as a Tier 3 sex offender for life upon release. All right? Now, I'm going to tell you, I've spent time with these people, and I've been in rooms full of men, no women at all, and there were sexual innuendos going out. Okay? And I'm sitting there because I'm the only one. And I'm thinking to myself, what is wrong with these people? But yeah, sexual innuendos going out the whole time. You know, straight men don't play like that. All right, they don't make jokes like that. All right, so real quick, you see this? This is this thumbnail here. All right, it's called redaction. You see all that black in there? It's a lot of redaction. All right, and these Jeffrey Epstein files is an example of the earth being given into the hand of the wicked. These are the people in government, all right, that are in positions of power. And guess what? They all hooked up in the same bullshit. They all hooked up in the same predatory and everything. Now, I'm not gonna read all of it, but the whole point is it was a lot redacted. So justice ain't gonna be served on this side. Okay? So let me read this a little bit. The heavily redacted text in the Jeffrey Epstein investigation files primarily alludes to the systemic, grave sexual crimes committed against underage girls and young women, as well as the identities of uncharged co-conspirators and prominent political or business associates. The files were released by the Department of Justice under the bipartisan Epstein Files Transparency Act. However, the disclosures sparked major public outcry due to severe inconsistent redactions. So all those redactions, right? It went into those redactions was covering up systemic sexual slavery and exploitation and the people involved. Uncharged co-conspirators, explicit depictions of harm, victim identities and statements, redaction controversies and errors. The rollout of the files by the Department of Justice has been widely criticized by both political parties and victims' advocacy groups for severe operational flaws, shielding the powerful, technical exploits and mistakes. Let me see. They're saying some of these redactions. Faulty digital redaction techniques initially allowed members of the public to recover hidden text which expose information about trafficking methods and ring members. Accidental exposure of victims. They did that on purpose so they can seal it. That's all that is. Open it up just a touch so then they can seal it. Over redaction. Journalists at the Associated Press uncovered instances of bizarre over censorship, including the redaction of a dog's name and blocking out the word Joseph from a generic newspaper clipping of a nativity scene. The broad consensus among investigators and legal representatives is that the redacted portions primarily obscure the specific criminal mechanics of the trafficking ring and the identities of high profile associates rather than a single clean client list. Okay? All right. So you see that these people they search each other out. They're defective. They search each other out. They're in power. All right. And they're the vilest people on the earth. All right. And they are defective and they know it. Okay. So yeah, look at his face. He can't believe he said that. But the spirit made him say it. Just so we know. And that's what these lessons is about. Okay? The Esau is being exposed. Skirt is being lifted. I pray that this lesson has been edifying. Until the next one, Shalom.